Recording.
3. Recording 29 point trace.
Recording.
Recruiting.
The first episode of Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann. Hold on, I gotta drop something. Hang on, Joe, I gotta drop something. It's my mixtape. Oh, why can't I fucking grab the... Why is it always the blinds get fucking stuck and then you have to do the fucking jig dance with them for 17 goddamn hours? Okay, I'm back.
Well, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Should that be the intro? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
Joe, I have 2 words for you.
What's that?
Max. Boobs.
Next boobs. Is that like possessive? Next boobs?
I'll leave that up to interpretation.
Perfect. The best way to leave things, I suppose? I don't know. I'm flipping a page. There we go.
We're
The page
talking
has been
about
flipped.
Gurren Lagann today, baby. Let's go.
The ultimate get in the robot anime that isn't Evangelion. Even though this is like a sister series to that in a lot of ways, but when
I gotta watch the 4 Kids. I gotta watch the 4 Kids intro after you said that. Oh
Yes.
my god, what a classic!
All right, so yes, hello everyone. Cup of Joe 29.3. We're talking about Gurren Lagann this week. We're splitting it up. This week this is part 1. We're talking about episode 1 through 8, the first arc of the show. We're thinking it'll be another 2 parts. It might be another 3 parts, but we're probably going to try and stick to 2. So this week, though, 1 through 8.
Yeah. I think having 3 parts in total makes sense. Because it's like 9 to 15, 16 to 27. It's just 11 episodes. It's really not that much. I think
And we don't have thesis anymore, Joe.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to know I'm done with school for only a couple of months, and then I go for 2 more years.
Yeah, there's that. Okay, so 1 through 8, we're going to be talking about it. Full spoilers. Joe, I kind of want to do this similar to obviously how we did.
I'm taking the lead. I don't need your damn permission.
All right.
I am an independent, strong woman who needs no man.
This is news to me, but okay. The independent and strong part, not the woman part, just to clarify.
Okay, so look, we're talking about Gurren Lagann, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to say Gurren Lagann. I knew about this anime. I heard about it. The only thing I really knew about this is that Yoko is a baddie. And when you trying to, you part of that hentai life, that's all you got to worry about. It ain't about the plot, bitches. It's about the visuals.
So true.
That's where I'm coming in with this. So Joe's like, hey, we're watching Gurren Lagann. And I'm like, okay, sounds pretty cool. Seems like Joe's a pretty big fan of this. Let me check it out. Had no clue this was a mecha anime. No clue at all. I knew it was pretty popular, but got into this, and I had no clue how to feel. I really didn't know where this was going to go. This thing's from 2007, Joe. Holy shit.
Halo 3, baby.
Wow, I thought this was like a 2013 show.
Nah.
Weird. For some reason, whenever I heard about these shows, I already got them mixed up with Kill la Kill. Maybe because both have a very strong female protagonist that has a big weapon and looks nice, but I digress.
Yes.
This show, opening. We always got to talk about the opening. Very cool. I enjoy it. I love it.
Love the opening to Gurren Lagann. So good.
Music
gets me pumped
in
every
general.
time.
The music in general is fucking great. Great choices, and it's not just like a score. They definitely pick just good rock songs where you're like, yeah, we're gonna fuck shit up, let's go. Like literally, there's so many times I was watching this show, Joe, and I literally was like, oh my god, Joe has rubbed off on me so much. I'm literally sitting in my chair, I'm punching the air, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes! That's the only way. Joe, I'm telling you, this is the way to experience this anime. It's to get hype as fuck. If this anime had a subtitle, it would be Gurren Lagann, hype as fuck.
Bro, for real, for real. Okay, okay. So Joe, okay, and we're watching the dub, and the dub's good. The dub is good. It's definitely like, it's such a like, it's the American influence definitely rubbed off on the dub, just on like some like the dramatics. Like it's really funny. There's some moments in the show where it's like really, really dramatic. And I feel like having like a Japanese voice actor definitely fits it better. But I also find it funny when an American voice actor.
All of Kamina's lines, I feel they'd work either way, because just the way he delivers in both the dub and the sub, it's just great. I fucking love the testosterone fueled vibrato. I don't know if vibrato is the right word. I think that's a musical term. You get the sense of what I'm saying, though. Like he's a man's man.
Yeah, yeah. So, a lot of characters in this show. I'm going to talk about the big three. We got Simone, who is, I forget the village's name, but he lives in this underground village where they don't know about the surface, and they're basically like mole people. They just drill stuff, and he's a drill
people, mole people.
He drills stuff. He drills. I don't really know what else to say.
Just drills.
There's a drill joke at the first episode that makes me very uncomfortable. I forget exactly what it is because I'm so far along in this series that I just forgot. But if you watch the first episode, very uncomfortable drill joke. I think it's something like, oh no, the girls are like, oh no, don't let his drill get too close to you. And I was like, what is?
Oh yeah,
is
the
that...
fucking bitches.
Yes. Just because I'm going down this path and I'm just going to follow it. Joe, the sexual innuendos. I know I was talking about Simone, but holy shit, this show has so many sexual innuendos. I lost count after 20. Wow, it just keeps going.
Yep. Yes, it does.
So that's cool, I guess. Simone, back to that. Simone, he's a drill boy. He's a little boy who likes to drill, and he's the scared little boy, while his buddy Kamina is he's this loud, vibrant punk dude with these tattoos, these big glasses. He's a punk, and he's like, oh, you guys never try and do anything different. We need to try and break through to the surface. And the guy's like, blasphemy, go to jail. And in the first episode they end up breaking onto the surface, and that's where the whole story kicks off. So those two are bros. They're like best friends, and Kamina's really fucking cool. I love him. And in the first episode, we also discover Yoko, who is the definition of a baddie. Like, wow. Like, Joe, I don't know, man. Olivia Munn or Yoko? You decide. I don't know. I think...
For me or for you?
You know what? Why not both, right?
Why not?
Say the line the Spanish kids say. Say it.
Porque no las dos?
Yeah, porque no las dos. Fantastic.
Oh, no.
Yoko is from another village called Littner, who already like was on the surface or broke onto the surface, and she fights these things called beastmen, which are like these, or gunmen, which are the giant mechs, which are piloted by these people called beastmen, and they like control the surface. And that's basically the first episode, and we get introduced to all this stuff, and wow, Joe, after the first episode, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's really, like, you had no idea what it was going in. The only thing you knew about was Yoko. And the first episode, I forget how much actually happens in the first episode when I rewatched this, because I remembered, I'm like, here's the thing, Joe. The entire first 8 episodes in my brain constitute, like, 20 episodes. I'm like, yeah, that's, like, most of the series. And then I'm like, oh, no. that's just the first 8 episodes. There's 21 more episodes after this, which I'm just like, holy Christ, they compact so much shit into these first 8 episodes. Like, I kind of want to just like shotgun through a couple of things real quick, just because like there's so many different little things. So like episode 1, you get the introduction of your 3 main characters, your introduction to the world of Mecha and like the gunman and what that's going on. You learn about Kamina's father and stuff like that in episode 2, where he's just like, the reason why he's so like, I need to get up to the surface and I believe in the surface because when he was a kid, he was up there with his dad and his dad was like, all right, let's go. And he was a little hesitant and his dad's like, okay, you're too scared right now, so come find me when you're not. And he just leaves his kid, which is kind of sucky. But also, it's
Hold up.
What?
Hold up, Joe. You're missing the best part of episode 2. The best part of the whole damn show. Oh, my boy Leron.
Leron? Yes! Joe,
Oh my god.
Hold on. I'm going through my notes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna text you. Leron is so many of our friends into one package. I've never experienced something quite like this in my life.
So like my notes for episode 2 are like Kamina's dad and then surprise skeleton, which we'll get to. Kamina doesn't know how to use a gun, and Leron. That's all I have written down just because of Leron. Joe, do you know who Leron is voiced by?
No, who?
It's Steve Bloom.
No, it isn't.
It is. Steve Bloom,
No.
voice of Mugen and Spike from Cowboy Bebop and Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty Zombies and a bajillion other things that I'm sure you're familiar with, voices Leron in the English dub. It is amazing.
Way.
I
Dude,
fucking love it.
The big thing about his voice is that he's so recognizable and you like can't hide, like you automatically know it's him. Holy shit, I had no clue.
Yep. So there's your trivia bivia for the day. That's your little thingy ding right there. But yeah, so like shooting through a couple other things real quick. You find out that there are these other creatures that have been living on the surface called Beastmen, and Beastmen are piloting the gunmen. Tell me if I'm going too fast for you. But so they start fighting off some of these guys, and eventually, because, Simone has his own little gunman that is like insanely powerful for whatever reason, and they're just taking out some of these gunmen. Kamina then in episode 2 is just sort of like, okay, I'm going to take me that gunman because I like the looks of it. And so he pulls out the gun that he was given by Yoko earlier in the episode, and she's like, you know what this is and how to use it? And he's like, fuck yeah, I know how to use this thing. And he takes it, and he starts using like a goddamn hammer trying to hammer his way into the gunman. And I'm like, oh, Kamina, you idiotic buffoon. But eventually the mecha opens up and he just yoinks the beastman out of the gunman, and he sits in and he's like, all right, here we go, baby. And so then he gets his own gunman and they fight off the beastman, and it's great. And then, along the way, they learn how to do a bunch of other things, like how to fight better, how to brotherly combine, which is amazing every single time I see it, and it doesn't make sense, and I fucking love it. I love it so much. What did you think about the combining stuff?
I have written down, they're gonna combine, in quotes, and I just have LOL. like they're all like, oh my god, and I forget what Leron says. He's like, oh boy. He's like, I want to see this, and I'm like, the sexual innuendos, the combining, the manly love, oh my god, the innuendos. I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just insane. I think the same episode where they learn how to combine is where they meet Viral. Did you catch one of my favorite scenes of all time, which is when Kamina is first facing off against Viral, and he starts drawing his sword out of the sheath, and he keeps drawing it, and he keeps drawing it, and the sword just keeps fucking coming. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and it's huge.
Mm-hmm. God, I love it, because so much of the stuff in this show, this is like the mantra of the show, is it's stated in episode 1 by Kamina. It's this simple. Kick logic out, and do the impossible. And so much of this show just follows that exact mantra, and I love it.
It's so everything is just I would like if you put like a hyper or like maximum in front of any noun or adjective, that's what this show is. They just take everything is just so extreme. It's freaking awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, so we find out we learn about viral. Who when I wrote it down, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, why is his name spelled like viral? Or maybe I spelled it wrong. I thought it was funny. And he's part of like the Human Eradicators or Human Eradication Project or something like that. So we get a little bit of like main story stuff where it's like, oh, so this is why maybe they were forced underground.
Right. Exactly. So then after that, we get to episode 4, which in the Gurren Lagann fandom, this is often considered to be the worst episode in the entire series, purely based on the animation. Did you notice the difference of animation in this episode?
Yeah, I literally I have the only notes are black siblings.
Yep.
What the fuck? Eat his tail? Question mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very strange episode just in general. Just the 16 combining gunmen and the weird fuzzy thing and the black siblings and it's a lot of weird stuff, and then the different animation quality. I don't quite want to call it I want to call it poor, but I feel like that might be unfair. I don't know. It's not to the same standard as of the rest of the show.
Yeah, this was definitely the weirdest. I mean, the weirdest part for me is the fact that he literally ripped up the pig mole's tail and they ate it, and it was just the most normal thing ever. But somehow his tail grows back later in the show. I was happy the next episode the tail wasn't there. I was like, wow,
yeah, the continuity.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about this episode.
Yep. All right. Fair enough. Moving on to episode 5, Rossio's Village.
Okay. Let me say something here.
Okay.
Is our man Ichigo in this? Is this really? Is this,
yes, he is.
You're joking. You're joking. Holy shit, man! I don't. What is happening?
He's popping up in everything. Well, have you noticed who Yoko is voiced by?
Is that Mai from Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's Rukia.
It's Rukia. What the fuck? Let me check my notes. Let me fact check you real quick. Where do I write this down?
Fact check your notes.
Okay, let me check my Yoko notes. Yoko is a baddie. Yoko likes Kamina? Question mark. Boobs.
I knew that one was going to be in there.
Couple things about boobs. What? I just could have sworn I wrote it down. What? That's Rukia?
Yeah, it's Rukia voicing Yoko. I like how we're just like the actual voice actor's name doesn't apply. It's like we only care if it's a character from Bleach.
Bro, man, Bleach. I don't care what you say, Joe. I know you rewatched it, and I know probably if I rewatched it, I would think the same thing you would think. But forever in my heart, it's a perfect show. Even the
20% of that show is perfect.
Moving
20% of that show is perfect.
So this episode's in black and white. Ichigo's in it. There's like this weird cult that worships an old gunman. I don't know. We get introduced to some of these characters. It's kind of cool.
It's more world building, but for my money, it's also one of the weaker episodes in this first arc. But it is interesting to see how some of this stuff goes along, like seeing how some of these other villages operate.
Yeah. And so next episode, I didn't realize it, but I put my Spirited Away DVD in my laptop, and we started watching that. I had no clue. I was like, who did that? That's really cool. Watching Spirited Away now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize what you were talking about, and then I looked at my notes for episode 6, and I was like, Spirited Away cars. Oh, that's what he's talking about. Yes, the bathhouse. There is a very clear homage to Spirited Away setting in this episode.
It's literally, there's one scene where they introduced the bathhouse with the bridge, and I'm like, they literally copy and pasted from Spirited Away. It's literally
the same thing.
I have Spirited Away, Hot Spring, it's a recap episode, and also Yoko's boobs. Wow,
Yep,
is it?
that's pretty
That's
much
all
it.
a man needs in life.
All a man needs in life: Spirited Away crossovers and boobs. Episode 7.
They're naked.
Yep.
They find out about the capital. Viral is an ugly motherfucker. They find out where the origin of the gunmen are coming from, or where they're being sent from. It's like mobile. It's this big fortress called Daigunza. Basically it's a battleship that's has legs.
It's a battleship with legs.
They learn about the Spiral King, which it's kind of more, if anything, like a name drop. You don't really learn anything about him. All the recruits come in, and now we have the big Gurren team. We got the homie, we got the black siblings, and they got their own gunmen. The Littner homies, they got a whole fucking army. Whole army. LOL.
Yeah.
And then volcanoes happen. So I mean, what else could you want?
Exactly. And also, this is the one where you start to see some, because like throughout the entire series, it's been sprinkled in, like Simone's gunman is a little different, it seems, from a lot of the Beastman's gunmen. And you know, it's like he's got some sort of energy that he's able to use, and even Kamina to some extent is able to use some sort of energy as well. Like when they combine, it's not just like, you know, it's not just like they hook onto each other. It's like they actually morph the gunmen. They like evolve. It's almost like digivolving in a sense. But then in episode 7 is the first time you see something where it's like their leg is demolished almost. But then all of a sudden, because they have so much fighting spirit, it glows green and repairs itself, and they can keep on fighting. And it has one of my favorite lines.
Legit?
Yes. And it has one of my favorite lines, Joe, where it's just like, it fixed itself, and then just before they finish saying that line, Comedy just goes, "Fighting spirit!" And he just keeps going on in. I'm just like, yes.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh man. Basically, 7 is a big setup for the big fight in 8. Because they come up with the great idea. They're like, holy shit. Kami's like, we're gonna steal that fucking battleship. We're gonna steal Daigunzan, and then we're gonna steal all their damn gunmen and their factory. Because he's like, if we can get Gurren is Gurren Simon's?
Lagann,
Yes.
I think, is Simone's. Yes, I think Lagann is Simone's.
Lagann is Simon's. He's like, if we can get Lagann to attach, he can take over the controls, and we'll have full control of it. I'm like, that wasn't a bad idea, Kamina. Pretty good. But as we find out in episode 8, there's a bit of a love triangle going on in this show.
Just a little bit. And when I first saw this, I was like, I don't know how to feel about this, because I don't know what any of their ages are. I still don't know what any of their ages are.
Age is just a number, Joe.
Very true, but Simone looks like he's 10.
I don't know, man. If I saw Yoko walking, no, I'm not going to get into it.
You're
I'm
22.
sorry. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Margaret Malloy naked on a
Stop.
cold day.
Joe.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, Jay.
Full stop.
Please move these along. Please.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. Yeah, there's a love triangle where Simone is very much interested in Yoko. Yoko is very much interested in Kamina. And Kamina, I think, is more so just opportunistic, where this is the beginning of this episode, is sort of just like the calm before the big storm, where they're going to attack the Daigunza base. And so Kamina, you know, he's munching down some food really quickly. Yoko comes up behind him, she's like, here, I got some tea. And Kamina is just talking. She's like, I want you to watch my back or whatever. And she just goes, hey, Kamina. And he just kind of turns around, and then she gives him a little smooch. She says something cute along the lines of like, your back is like your one blind spot or something like that. And he's like, yo, baby, come here again. And then they make out a little bit. And you're like, oh, this is kind of sweet. And then it cuts to Simone in the bushes like a fucking goon, just like, and he just goes
Oh.
running away. He's just like, none of my business, none of my business, none of my business. And then Kamina fucking Goku teleports in front of him because all of a sudden he runs into Kamina, and he's just like, oh, bro, and he's like, hey, dude, chill the fuck out. I know you're probably real nervous right now, but remember, don't believe in you. Believe in the Kamina that believes in you. And he's like, oh, thanks, bro. And then, they go in and they start doing the battle. And Joe, I'm going to let you finish out this episode because this is a rather important episode.
So, Simone is heartbroken. So his fighting spirit's a little low.
Little bit.
I'm gonna say he's a bit of a preteen, so his emotions are a little all over the place. And
Let's say he's 12.
let's just say when you got Yoko walking in front of you, it's pretty to have Yoko on the mind. Um, and they get in the fight, and one of the generals starts fighting. One of the four generals from the Spiral King or whatever the hell. We get a little bit of intro of it. And I will say, Joe, did you see this guy uses the same weapon that Sarah used in Samurai Champloo, the blind chick?
Oh, yeah. I
That
didn't make
kind
the
of like
connection at the time, but yes.
the three-pointed like spear.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool, and I just wanted to point that out. But the fight starts going, and they end up tricking them, and they throw Simone, and he's not able to make the connection to control Daigunzan, and they end up all the gunmen that are being controlled by the Beastmen rush back and they start beating up everybody. And what looked like a pretty solid plan and win for Team Guide Gurren is not going so well now. Kamina literally gets fucked by the general dude, and it's really rough, and it's this really big battle. It's emotional, and I believe they end up joining together. Oh, and the reason Simone couldn't hold the connection is because he just kept thinking about Yoko and Kamina kissing, and he was still heartbroken and emotional about it. But Kamina ends up inspiring him to, kind of.
How does
Move
he
past
inspire him, though? This is a very iconic moment.
I'm trying to remember. Doesn't he just like kick the shit out of him or something like that?
He's like, Simone, open up in there! And he opens up his hatch to log on. And, Kamina, it just comes tumbling into him. And he just goes, let me see you grit those teeth! And then just decks him in the face with one of the largest anime punches ever put to screen. And you're just like, oh my god, did he just kill Simone? And then he's just like, remember, I told you I'd belt you one if you ever got, down on yourself. Believe in the Kamina that believes in you and all that shit again. And then he's just like, fuck yeah, you're right, bro. And so he gets in and the fucking powers up his mech and then he takes control of Daigunza.
Yep. And they end up taking control. They end up fighting. At one point, it looks like Kamina died, and oh my goodness, Simone gets all pissed and starts fighting again. But then we find out that Kamina's alive. They form Gurren Lagann, and now they have these new moves where drills come out of their body, and we learn about their finishing move where they make the giant drill. I forget what the name of the move is called.
I think it's Giga Drill Impact, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and it's so fucking cool the first time you see it. It's literally
so cool.
So cool. And they end up destroying Viral, and Viral lives and runs away, but they end up killing one of the generals, and you're like,
Yes.
holy shit, this is fucking awesome. It's a win. And then we close in on Kamina, and he's just completely fucked. He is bleeding. He is exhausted. And we had thought he died earlier in the episode, and you're like, holy shit, wow, this was a crazy fight, really good fight.
Yeah,
and
he came back from the dead. He can do anything.
And then he just dies.
What was your reaction when you realized that Kamina was gone?
I was like, did they really just kill off one of the main characters? I'm like, did that just happen? I was like, I didn't believe it. I'm like, is there going to be some is there a Lazarus pit Are they gonna pull one of those? Like,
Where's Rachel Ghoul? Hey, get him over here. We need to dump him in the Lazarus pit.
yeah, something like that. But wow, it actually like I didn't get emotional, but I was like, oh fuck, they really killed him off, and they did a good job with it. It wasn't, and I liked the way they killed him, even though that kind of sounds fucked up. Like they didn't make it a big dramatic thing. Like it literally, he pushed himself so hard, and he was using his last will to live. He probably should have died earlier the first time, but he had to win the fight for Simone, and
Fighting spirit.
after that, he had to go. He was done. Man, yeah, I was pretty surprised. Yeah, that was wild. I didn't think they were going to kill off one of the main characters.
Yeah, a friend of ours showed this to me a few years back, and I was also in the same boat as you. I knew nothing about this show, and so we were binge watching it. And when we got to episode 8 and that happened, I had a very similar reaction where I was like, "Okay, so when's he coming back?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait, he's dead."
Yeah, like
And I was
actual
just like,
dead.
"Holy shit!"
Not like Dragon Ball dead. Actual
Nah.
dead.
Actual dead, like Attack on Titan dead, like very dead,
Oh, that's Attack on Titan dead. Definitely.
very dead. So, yeah, that was God. And that's why I told you, I was like, all right, episode 8, you cannot watch past for this part. Like, this is what we're doing here. And so I was very much adamant about that. But, so that's the end of part 1. That's the end of the first arc that we got going on. So then next week or in a few days, because, again, we fucked up scheduling, we'll be back for part 2, which is, what is that, 9 through 15, 16?
9 through 15. And I'm looking at my notes on this now, and in this note page, I have the My Voice written down, because I think not to jump ahead, but I think the one general, the Scorpion chick, is voiced by Mai from Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm not 100% sure. She does this one thing where I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, she literally just sounded like she was yelling at Joey.
I'll have to double check that, yeah, but interesting. All right. Anything else to have? Any closing remarks?
This is pretty good, Joe. I was very hesitant, but I'm enjoying it. This anime is not the style of this anime is not something that I would normally enjoy. Like if I were to like see more clips of this, I would think to myself, "Oh, that's not for me." So you're doing good, kid.
I'm interested to see what your reaction is for both the second part that we do and then eventually the third part, because stuff's to happen in this show, and I it's no secret I fucking love this shit, so I'm just really excited to share this with you and see what your all reactions are. So, with that being said, everyone, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. And if you're having a bit of a down time right now, we've all been there. We understand. But just remember, kick logic out and do the impossible. Alright? Just fucking do it! We love you all. Bye-bye.
Believe in the you that Joe believes in.
That too. Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.